What is up, Nickel City Mafia? Brutal loss tonight. And yeah, no need for an intro. Let's get into it right away. You know the fellas here. And let's throw it to Anthony. Anthony, you're going to be first because your team won. You kind of called it with your defense. Your defense was unbelievable. But yeah, let me throw it to you for your reactions on this game. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much. It's the most bittersweet victory I've ever seen because, the ending, the punt return touchdown to end it in overtime, absolutely just unbelievable. The taking the ball back over, the defense, the pressure all night was unrelenting. Like I was a little bit concerned when we got to the beginning of the second half. I don't know if you noticed it, but it seemed for a very little bit that Josh got in a rhythm. And then that second pick, I think it was, to Whitehead, and then the third pick to Whitehead, and Josh was just completely gone. And then Clemens knocks it out on the fumble, and it was just absolutely brutal. But I mean, how can you take too much joy out of that win when you watched Zach Wilson? You saw what it looks like when he comes in. You saw how limited the offense is. They ran the football relatively well with Breece Hall, but Dalvin's cooked. 2.7 yards per carry. The offensive line is decent. It's not amazing. My problem with the play calling, especially towards the end of the game, obviously I wanted them to run the ball just constantly. I don't want Zach to be able to have an opportunity to throw an interception. And I know that offense can work because I watched the Falcons do it this past week. I watched the Falcons literally just play around not even having a quarterback. So I know that it's possible to be able to do it. But at the same time, I'm terrified. We're going to Dallas next week. You saw what Dallas just did to the Giants yesterday. 40-0.
You want to talk about pass rush, too. Holy smokes, man.
I mean, It's terrifying. That team is absolutely terrifying right now. And yes, I think we can get to Dak Prescott. Yes, I think we can force a turnover or two. Is that going to be enough? So, it's a tough start. But absolutely, the way total team effort, we absolutely did win this game tonight. Garrett Wilson intercepted a touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Jets.
I want to say welcome, Gotham City Jets. He made a bold prediction. He commented on our show last night, and he predicted 7 sacks. Looks like you had 3, but you add in the, 3 interceptions, and, it was a fantastic showing.
5 sacks.
He predicted 254. There was 5 sacks. He was close. You're right. There was 5 sacks, 3 interceptions, and of course the fumble recovery. So, man, great job by your team. Let me go to a Bills rep here, and let me throw it to you, Jake, because I know the other two are going to come in hot. So I need you to kind of keep it calm a little bit. But, man, brutal. I mean, it looked brutal. So talk to us.
I found the strongest bourbon I could find, to be honest with you. I'm doing Elijah Craig Barrel Proof tonight. We're at 124.8. I wish it was a little higher. This is tough. This is a tough one to swallow. I've never felt so confident going into a game and never felt so depleted leaving a game. I know it's only week 1 and, there's going to be the overreactions and all that good stuff. And, hey, we just joined the Chiefs and the Bengals. So to try to extract some positives out of this, the Bills, the Chiefs, and Bengals did not look the part this week. The other side of it is there is a real concern. Josh Allen reverted back to his rookie year. And here's the thing. I don't think that the problem is, those interceptions and the turnovers are going to tell the entire story of this game for Josh. There were some good things he did, and Anthony alluded to it. He did kind of get into a rhythm at times, but gosh, man, you just talk about popping a balloon. It just seemed like every time we would get a little momentum, especially taking the underneath routes, and, we had a really good stretch, a nice couple of drives, really, and just popping a balloon, man, every time. I know we understand that we have Brett Favre with legs here as our quarterback. We understand that. And the guy makes some incredible plays. But tonight, the airs and the forcing of the ball down the field, that was the story. And golly. Now, hats off to the Jets. They did a really, really nice job tonight. I cannot take a single ounce of credit away from them. Like, they did a lot in this game to neutralize Josh and to make him, I guess, I don't even know if they really baited him into making those throws, but psychologically, they got into his head today. And God, man, like, that is a top, I'm going to say that might be the best defense in the NFL right there. So you can at least know that, Anthony. I know you're terrified with Zach Wilson, but shit, man, you guys have a hell of a defense. You really, really do. And maybe I underestimated it a little bit. I felt like we were taking what the defense gave us at first and throwing the underneath stuff. And I'm not saying that Ken Dorsey called a great game or anything like that, but I put this way more on Josh Allen than Ken Dorsey. Josh needed to capitalize and just do enough to kind of just ride this one out. We didn't have to do anything crazy. But God, man, like when you turn the ball over and you give the Jets good field position, eventually that defense of ours is going to break. And I mentioned it earlier in our pregame show too, just about the run defense. There were some holes in that run defense too, man. Like, especially the guys in the middle. I felt like they got exposed a little bit. They had to help our edge guys out a little bit more today, and that didn't really happen either. But yeah, I really think the story of this, unfortunately, is our MVP quarterback, man. It just didn't look the part tonight, and it sucks, and it hurts because I am like his biggest supporter. I always say it to everyone. I would take a freaking bullet for this man. I don't even know the guy, I treat him like family. And it's a hard realization to come to, but like, hey, this was an eye-opening moment, and it's like carryover from last season almost. So it stings a lot right now. I'm not giving up on the team. Listen, you got to put this one behind you. Got to have some amnesia, but right now this is hard to swallow. Really, really hard to swallow. So I'm going to swallow some bourbon. I'll let someone else.
All right. Yeah, it was brutal. I mean, I felt like the offensive line played a pretty good game, honestly. Penalty free for the most part. Spencer Brown had that late start early start late in the game, but penalty free for the most part. O-line was pretty decent for sure. You're going to have, when you got the Jets pressure coming, I mean, Josh has to get rid of it quick. I did feel like they were taking, we all said last year, they need to take the underneath a lot more. Take what the defense is giving you. Well, I felt we went over the edge there. I mean, we couldn't even complete a pass down the field, it felt like. But
everything was covered downfield. I mean, really,
I know. So is that just, Dorsey's play calling? Is that just they're just that good of a defense? Or we had no answer. We had no answer. And let me go to the man with the glasses on because he's been waiting patiently. He said he's going to keep it PJ-13 because he's on the Nickel City Mafia network right now. But Sean, man, give us your thoughts, buddy.
Well, first of all, I just want to say congratulations, Nickel City Mafia. 1,500 subscribers just hit today.
Yes.
Well deserved. Incredible. Anthony, I already told you, but I thought it was a super resilient win. I know, obviously, you're probably not going to have Rodgers for at least half the year, and it's going to be a big problem. But
it just came over the wire that Saleh just said in the press conference he thinks it's an Achilles. We're done.
Oh.
But as horrible as that is, and nobody wanted to see that at all, the fact that you guys were still able to battle through that and win, got to give respect for that, absolutely. The reason I have these on was because my plan was to come on here and then just go, you know why I'm here, but now I'm just going to wear them because I'm going to wear them in shame. Like a fool. So there's a lot of things I wanted to interject in for that Jake said, but I probably forgot all of them now.
I'm sorry,
which sucks. But one thing he did say that the Jets have the best defense. They have a phenomenal defense, but in my opinion, Dallas has the best defense. And as good as the Jets defense was today, I'm not disrespecting them. But what I'm saying is those interceptions, I can't even talk because I feel like I'm drunk without even drinking. The interceptions that Josh threw were just simple. If you read the safety, you know not to throw the ball over there. It wasn't because they were playing great defense. I mean, Sauce Gardner got cooked all day by Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs. And, I mean, it didn't amount to anything because we lost still. But, like I said, there was a lot of good things, so I'll mention that first. Sauce looked human, which, again, he's still one of the best corners in the NFL. But Diggs was Diggs. Gabe Davis made a couple good throws. That one where he ran a horrible route, his ankle is healthy, isn't it? That's what I heard all offseason. So why, when you're trying to fool a safety that already has 2 picks, why are you running a half-assed route and then he just reads it like it was a Harry Potter book in 1 second, and then all of a sudden he picks it off again? That was on Gabe Davis because he was running a half-ass route. Josh played horrible. He played absolutely horrible and atrocious. And that's not excusable. And again, I go from top to bottom. Everybody gets treated the same. And as horrible as he played, he had a chance to go back to tie the game, or at least to tie the game, which he did. So, a lot of good things in that. But then stupid penalty by Diggs, which I gotta say about that push off. It could have been a push off, but I mentioned in my pregame show, I love Sauce's physicality. That's why I think he's such a phenomenal corner, is because he's able to be physical and not get penalized for it. But then when Diggs was a little bit physical, they threw the flag immediately. So I didn't really like that. But great matchup. Again, I'm not saying he's a fantastic corner. So I'm just saying how good Diggs was today. And that pissed me off because, drive killer penalty. Then you get the ball in overtime. We finally win a coin toss, right?
Yeah.
And then the first play of the overtime, Spencer Brown kills the drive with a false start. Then it's 1st and 15. Then it's a horrible pass to Dawson Knox, 2nd and 15. Then you run up the middle for 2 yards, and then you throw it. Good coverage.
That 2nd and 15
played by DJ Reed. Yeah. So, and then to top it all off, you have a horrible special teams coverage, and you lose the game. Again, phenomenal one for the Jets. And again, I know there's a ton of things that I probably forgot to interject in, but we'll get into it. But there's a ton of bad. Offensive line as a whole, I thought they did what I thought they would. Just like I said when I watched the film, the Jets do nothing exotic up front. They just beat you with their pure power and speed, and that's what they like to do. It works for them. It's nothing bad to say. They rush you with 4. Quinton Williams stays in front of the left guard, or the left guard for the most part, and sometimes he moves to the nose tackle. But for the most part, he just lines up on the left guard, and then that's all they're gonna throw at you. And the offensive line did perform a lot better than they did last year. Josh did have some time. And one of the good things Josh did, if you look at those, if you take away those, I'm not saying take it away and he has a great game, but if you don't look at those stupid boneheaded interceptions, he was doing everything you were supposed to do to beat the Jets. Dink and dime, run a little bit, throw little out routes, throw little screen passes, throw little slant routes, and just have long drives. And for the most part, he did that. And, again, for the most part, that's all taken away with horrible quarterback play. And it's like I said, it's just simple reading. And they draw it up for you on the TV. They say, hey, as soon as you see the safety drop back, that's why you don't throw there. Because, it's one-on-one coverage, and the safety drops back instead of if he goes up, throw it. But he didn't. And then the first time you threw it deep, you're throwing it to a 5'5" receiver in double coverage. That's never a smart play, even if he's open. Like, he's 5'5". That was really stupid. And Keith, I did, but that doesn't count because Brett told me I was allowed to today. But I mean, like I said, for the most part, the offensive line did what they were supposed to do against a great front. And I think they did blitz. I have to watch the tape again, but they blitzed a hell of a lot more than what they did last year. I think that's a testament to what the offensive line was doing this year. Again, I'm sick to my stomach about how bad Josh was because he's got everything you need to be a fantastic quarterback. But then the stupid mistakes that could be avoided, like that's why people talk crap about him all the time and say you're not better than Burrow, you're not better than Mahomes. You could be, and Burrow threw 80 yards, but he didn't throw 3 picks and fumble. Like, I mean, and granted, we still had a chance to win the game, even turn the ball over 4 times. Large in part, give credit to the defense too, except for when Breece Hall was running the ball. And I know Brett, you want to talk. I'll just quickly say, phenomenal runs by Breece Hall. I wasn't expecting him to be, that comfortable running the ball right away. Again, just because ACL tears are different for everybody. It's just hard to imagine someone could come back and just be that lightning fast and not afraid to make cuts and everything. But those 2 big runs he had, he was hit at the line of scrimmage, and all he had to do was not be scared and soft and actually tackle. And he's gonna run right off you. If you tackle him with little stupid scrawny arms like cornerbacks have, he's going to just run by you and gash you for big gains, and that's what they did. So, Becton, I will say quick, Becton did not shut down Groot. Becton did okay, especially for not playing for 2.5 years, but nobody on the defensive line got shut down. If you watch the game, he may not have got a bunch of sacks, but he had his arms wrapped around Zach Wilson plenty of times, and I give the defensive line a lot of credit. I said in my pregame show, show me what you can do without Von Miller. I didn't think highly of the Jets' offensive line anyway going into it, but they still made a lot of great plays. So, I mean, we'll talk more, but
Yeah, let me get to the comments here because we had people before the show even started. We got the Patriot fan, the Patriot rep from the AFC East Summit show. Let the fireworks begin. He's pretty happy about this, it seems. Big Al coming in early before the show starts. Get rid of Spencer Browns. Tackling needs to get better. Dorsey doesn't impress me at all.
been trying to say for 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, again, I didn't think the O-line played that well. Spencer Brown going against that front, you're going to give up a play. But again, I feel like I'm in agreement with most of the guys here. Josh Allen throwing 3 interceptions into double coverage all 3 times for the most part. Let's see here. Armchair Scouting Corner. Let's get the show going. And let's see. I'm looking at the cover. He's got some type of game that he's showing there. Pretty cool. Well, Armchair Scouting Corner. Are you a Jet fan? Are you a Bills fan?
That's me.
Oh, that's you.
Yeah.
What
and
the heck?
Hell yeah.
the picture is Giancarlo Stanton when it was an A-ball.
All right.
Oh,
so
nice.
All right. So you're bringing in the chats. All right, cool. Eddie Maldonado, the team won't win 9 games this year, and they're going to compete with New England for last place. That's a pretty bold statement after week 1, man. After week 1, you know, you saw the Bengals get off to a rough start. You saw the Chiefs get off to a rough start. The Bengals got off to a rough start last year. What were they early on? Like 1-3, something like that. Crazy.
1-4, I believe it was.
1-4, and then they won out. You know, of course, they lost in the championship game. One game doesn't make a season, guys. So
we're at the Bengals, though, Mike. You know, like this is the same stuff every year. The penalties when it matters most. The turnovers on stupid things that shouldn't be happening. The Bengals may lose the first couple games of the year, but they buckle down and they actually do what you're supposed to do. We don't do that. We make mistakes. Then like I said last week, they're going to go on the podium tonight and say, "Guys, relax. It's only week 1." Like you know all these lame ass excuses, and they're just going to not take accountability for what they did. And then Josh is going to go up there and say, "Yeah, it starts with me. I played like shit." And everyone's gonna be like, "Yeah, well,
he needs to say it this time. This time for real, man.
You have to do something about it. You can't just, oh yeah, I played like garbage. It starts with me. So do something about it. Stop doing the same stuff you did last year. Last year was the same thing. You did stupid interceptions on plays that were miscues and that you weren't paying attention to. If you pay attention, like we see you do in every other game that you play, then you wouldn't have this problem, and you wouldn't look like crap against a great defense. They played a phenomenal game, of course, but you got to help yourself a little bit, Josh. Like you can read a defense. We know that. You're smart. You know, you have a ton of improvement, but then nothing ever happens. Just they get over it. They say, "Oh yeah, you know, we'll get better." Then you go play the Raiders, who have a horrible defense, except for Max Crosby and then a couple other players there. And then we might win that game, right? And you know, Josh might not throw an interception. He'll get 3 touchdowns or whatever. And then it's going to be like, "Yeah, see, he bounced back." But it's the Raiders defense. And that's just saying if we can hold Max Crosby back, he's a psychotic maniac. He's a beast. I don't mean that in a mean way. I just mean like on the football field, he's just everything that you want to be in a defensive end. He's just a maniac. He's amazing, and he's one player, but I don't think we can stop him. And then it's going to be Josh Jacobs is going to run the ball over us, and then you got Devontae Adams still. Devontae Adams Gary Wilson's going to be up and coming star, but he's not Devontae Adams. And Garrett Wilson made some key plays tonight against good corner. So
let's not get into the pregame of the Raider game. Yeah, let's talk about this game. You're getting into the pregame already. Let's not talk about that. Marty, I haven't seen you out there before. I'm not sure if you're a Bills fan or Jets fan, but welcome to the channel. Glad to see you out there. He says you could have had Mahomes and Justin Jefferson. Yeah, I mean, whatever on that one. That doesn't matter to me right now at all, honestly. My dad, not impressed at all with the Bills. I predicted the loss, but really expected a better game. Not sure they will reach my 12-5 preseason prediction. I already said Gotham City. Yes, sir. You subbed. Yeah, you came in like you said you were going to. Got close to some of your predictions. Got close. Good win for you guys. Tom, hey guys. Josh seemed like 2018 Josh Allen. I think you heard Jake say that right off the get-go. Chris, again, Patriot fan. Is it time to push the panic button for Josh Allen? No, it's never time to push the panic button. But, yeah, we'll talk about it more. I'm just catching up with all the chats here. Tom, no, just a bad game. Who else have we got in here that we haven't talked? Keith chiming in from the Dolphins side of things. Rough one tonight, guys. Allen doesn't seem to be able to figure out the Jets' defense. Allen and Dorsey. I mean, this is 3 games now in the past 2 years. And who else we got in there? Anybody else new? Big L's back. Gotham City.
I'm going to push back on Key's comment, though. Like
All
I
right.
said, we had what we were doing the right thing. And then it was
Yep.
Josh making a decision that shouldn't have been made that made it turn to the worst. It wasn't Dorsey, because Dorsey called up a great game because, like I said, he was 27 for 32 at one point, and with 2 picks. It wasn't that he wasn't doing it wasn't the great play calls. It was a good called game. He just made the dumb decisions. And then that's going to be on Dorsey to say, look, Josh, watch the film here, put his face into the TV, like when you put a dog in a pee spot when they're a puppy, and say, listen, you did this when this, and that were wide open, or you could have did this instead and won us the game instead of throwing 3 interceptions and fumbling. And
I actually think one of the issues that Josh has, and it shows up against the Jets more than it shows up against everybody else, is that Josh is allergic to taking the easy checkdowns too many times in a row. He doesn't want to do it. He wants to make the splash plays. You see it on the first interception. You saw it on the second interception. And that third one, he was just forcing it in.
Yeah.
He wants to make a big play. And the Jets defense is entirely about, if you're going to beat us, you're going to take it. Every single drive is going to have to be 15 plays because we're expecting we're going to get a sack on one of them. And that's going to force you out of range of getting
That's so spot on. That is so perfectly said, Anthony. Yes. It's like, because things were going great and we were inflating that balloon, like I said, and boom, boom, boom. We're tiring out this defense. Long drive, 8 plays, and interception.
I think one of them got to 15. When your not your first touchdown, but your first field goal drive was like 12 or 15 plays. Your next field goal drive was another 12 or 15 plays. Like, this defense is built to do that. It's built to take away the big stuff and let the front 4 get home. And Josh is allergic to the short drives where he doesn't get to do something cool.
You ain't kidding, man.
Z-Bell.
Yeah.
Who's Z-Bell again, Jake?
That's
I know
Ian.
I think it's
Like that
it's
is Ian.
All right. Yeah. So Ian,
he was just
absolutely.
Here.
We need to chill. It's week 1. Yeah, but every week is important in this league, especially in the AFC East. And Z-Bell, we need to chill. It's week 1. We said that. Like, do I expect the Bills to be battling for last place, like somebody said? Nope, I don't. It is week 1, and you just heard the Jets took a big hit with, losing Rodgers for the season. Unfortunately, I didn't want to see that. I wanted to see the Bills play Rodgers. I wanted to see that great soon-to-be Hall of Fame quarterback when he does retire. I wanted to see that, and it was really unfortunate for that. But they came in. That Jet defense just shut us down. This is like the 3rd game in a row where they have just been able to shut down that offense. And again, you can put a lot of blame on Josh. It was Josh, but I also feel, I don't know. I want Brett to have some time to talk here. I don't know if it was, obviously it's on Josh, and I don't know if Dorsey called a great game. I really don't. I mean, yes, taking the underneath all night, which is something we have said, we screamed about it last year. They started doing it, but at some point, dial up something different, because that seemed to be all that we were going with. But Brett, you've been quiet. I'm sorry. It's been 23 minutes and you haven't said a word. So go ahead, buddy. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I'm going to not go off tonight, and I'm going to be respectful because we do have Anthony on the show. And first of all, Anthony, all the stuff that we said behind the scenes and everything, listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. It's stuff that we say just because we're trying to get in your head, man. So just letting you know that, I'm messing with you. We're all
when I go silent, it's not because I don't feel like going back. It's because I don't feel like feeding the monster.
Exactly. Hey, we reaped what we sowed. I made some comments during the game and everything. I reaped what I sowed, came out with a meme, and that didn't work out. I was trying to get a little bit in your head.
Memes don't tackle.
Hey, it didn't work out, but hey, I got to say to you, Anthony, though, hats off to the Jets. They played a good game for, everything that they had to go through with Aaron Rodgers going down. And, the Bills in the first half, they were, kicking your tail. And then you came out in the second half, pretty much shut us down. And it was a totally different half from the Jets, and they played really well. Really liked what I saw from the Jets defense as well. And, you did a phenomenal job. So I'll give you all the flowers you deserve there. You know, it's a tale of two halves for the Buffalo Bills, though. They came out in the first half, did a really good job of moving the ball down the field by taking what the defense gave them. And then in the second half, it really came down to the Jets tightened up their defense and did a good job of putting pressure on Josh Allen by using not only blitzes, but also disguising coverages as well. And that's what I really saw in this game. And then for the Bills, one thing that we've talked about, especially on the Go Bills podcast, is the special teams coverage of the Buffalo Bills with Matthew Smiley. It has not been very good, especially in the preseason. And I'm disappointed in what I saw out there. And we saw a few big gains on in the preseason, especially with the punt returns and kick returns. And that's what I was concerned about today. And we didn't address it and we didn't take care of it. And that's what ended up costing us the game. Partially, I do put a lot of the blame on Josh Allen too. Josh did not have a good second half of the game. You look at the time of possession battle, we were winning the time of possession battle in the first half. Then we laid an egg. We stayed on the field way too long on defense, and that's what cost us this game. You put the defense out there for as long as we did today, and that's how you lose games. Buffalo lost it on their own. I mean, I'm going to say it right now. Do I think the Jets won that game? Not necessarily. They won it as a team. Yes, they did. But the Bills gave you every chance you could possibly have to win that game. The Bills could have put points on the board a lot more, especially with the interceptions that Josh Allen had. They should have put a ton more points on the board than they did. And, I'll give you all the credit you deserve, Anthony. I'm not trying to be disrespectful with what I'm saying about the Jets. The Jets are a good team. Don't get me wrong. And their defense is really good. But Buffalo lost this game rather than the Jets winning that game. It really came down to that. There should have been more points put on the board by Buffalo, and I put a lot of that blame on Josh Allen. I put some of the blame on Ken Dorsey, but I put more of the blame on Matthew Smiley too, because you knew the issues that we had with our punt coverage, and you didn't address that either. That's what concerns me more, and I don't know if we really can fix that. That's something that Buffalo's going to have to work on, especially this week in practice now. And, I liked what I saw in the first half from the Bills with being able to spread the ball around. And in the second half, it really came down to Buffalo trying to force feed the ball to Stephon Diggs. And I liked it at times what they did, but I also felt like we were trying to force the ball too much to Diggs, and we didn't take into effect Gabe Davis. We also didn't take into effect Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. I mean, that's other ways that we could have made better plays. And we also, in the second half, didn't run the ball very much. That's one thing that I looked at was we ran the ball 22 times today. Mm-hmm. And one thing we talked about how to beat a good pass rush, run the ball. And we didn't run the ball enough. And I think, especially after that second interception, Buffalo could have ran the ball a little bit more, especially when we looked at where John Franklin Myers was lining up. I mean, I saw a few plays where I felt like Buffalo could have ran the ball off Deion Dawkins, and we were trying to run the ball off of Spencer Brown a little too much. And that's what hurt us a little bit in this game. But overall, I'll give you all the credit, Anthony. You deserve. You guys played a really good game. We do have a long season for the Buffalo Bills, and the Jets have a long season too. And I think we'll find a way to figure out the answers. I'm not giving up on Sean McDermott. I'm not giving up on Brandon Beane. I'm not giving up on this Bills team. We'll find a way to figure it out, but it takes a lot of accountability too. And that's what I want to see this week from the Buffalo Bills. We got to take accountability, and we got to fix the mistakes that we made. It starts with Josh Allen, and it also starts with Coach McDermott too, fixing some of the mistakes that we saw as well. And one last thing I do want to say is I wasn't very impressed with the play of Terrell Bernard today. I don't know how everybody else felt about it, but I was a little disappointed.
Pretty good.
I mean,
he led the team in tackles.
He did lead the team in tackles.
Pretty hard hitter.
he did some good things, but I felt like he was out of position at times, and
He
I do
over-pursued
feel like
on a lot of plays.
Yeah,
Well, that's the whole team. That's all they do. The McDermott defense is over pursuing and no good tackling. So I mean, what do we expect from him anyway? That's what you have to look at. Is did you expect Bernard to be an All-Pro middle linebacker in his first career start? No. So I mean, that's why I'm just like, he did pretty good, I guess. I mean, he didn't lose us the game. And as far as like running the ball, it's not that we didn't run the ball late. We couldn't run the ball because it kept getting stuffed, and because we kept running those stupid draw plays up the middle. And James Cook is afraid of contact, and he's soft. So, again, you might disagree with me, but all you had to remember was when Quincy Williams is one-on-one on you and you're fighting for a first down, in a close game, and you back up because you're scared to get hit by him, you're soft. I don't care how many times you run through the tackles, you're soft. And that's the end of that discussion. But I thought Kincaid had a good game. I mean, Gotham City said the lights were too big for him. He was running over your defensive backs all night. Getting for extra 5-6 yards, physical. And he had a good first game. Where was Sherfield? He didn't do anything. Why didn't we use Hardy more in the later part of the game? I mean, there's just Diggs again was phenomenal. That's what you're supposed to do. You have to get the ball to your best player. What does Tua do? Throws the ball to Tyreek Hill almost every play, gets 215 yards, throws 3 touchdowns, wins the game. You got to get your ball to your best player, and that's just how it goes. Who did the Jets go to when they needed the ball most? Garrett Wilson. Is he their best player? Yep. You got to get the ball to your best player. Diggs made some plays, and it just came down to couldn't run the ball late, and then Josh was turning the ball over and putting the offense in bad situations. And I mean, I thought Kincaid did good. For what everyone advertised him when we drafted him, I was happy with what he did. I think he had 5 or 6 catches, probably for
4 catches, 26 yards.
Yeah,
he didn't do that much.
I mean, he had 20 yards after contact. They were all short passes, but he had a couple, 4. I think two of those 4 catches were first down. So, I was okay with that. And in his first career game, I was happy with that. I thought Torrance did good, but I mean, it's always the Bills thing. You come out in the second half, they don't adjust, they don't do anything different, and then they get stagnant, and that's how it ended.
All right, I want to take some comments here. So, Brett, I kind of disagree with your statement saying that the Bills kind of, we won, the Jets won because we kind of handed it to them. I don't agree whatsoever. I think the Jets were obviously the better team tonight. They rallied behind their defense when Rodgers went down. Look what James says here. I totally agree. Imagine if Rodgers played the whole game. You want to talk about giving a team a gimme? Your starting quarterback goes out after four snaps. And you want to talk about a gimme? The Bills should have won this game. I mean, even all the announcers were like, yeah, this is probably not going to be pretty in the second half, blah, blah, blah. They did it. They really, they were the better team.
That's why I agree with Brett, because we did. I mean, if you turn the ball over 4 times and you're in an overtime game with a chance to win the game with the ball first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at, Mike, is I feel like if you knew that Aaron Rodgers is out of the game at that point, and you didn't do enough to take advantage of the situation that you were put in. I mean, that's a giant golden egg that you had right there. Is Aaron Rodgers, a future Hall of Famer, is out of the game. Now you have Zach Wilson, who struggled at the end of the season last year and didn't look like the same Zach Wilson that he was at the beginning of the season. He comes in, he didn't look very good. He wasn't moving the ball down the field very much. He, pretty much all he had to do was cover the line of scrimmage, and Zach Wilson couldn't throw the ball down the field. And then we could have moved the ball down the field, got, a couple touchdowns, and just a couple touchdowns would have won this game. That's what the Bills struggled with, is not being able to move the ball down the field and put points on the board. And those 3 interceptions from Josh Allen, along with the fumble that he had as well, those are points taken off the board. If you at least get 3 points on those drives, that's 12 points. We win the game.
We didn't have to score a touchdown. Just don't throw 3 picks, and then you win the game regardless, because they had 13 points off of turnovers, and
we weren't driving the length of the field. If you take away that one Brees run for 83 yards, we're not driving down the field with that team.
If you take Brees out of the game, I honestly believe you don't win this game.
Of course not.
We're not doing unrealistic things.
But if we go, no, even last year, if you poll any Jets fan, we weren't winning those games early in the season. I think we were like 6-2 at one point. We beat the Bills when we were to get back to 6-3, something like that. Or so, yeah, whatever. Most of those wins came off of Breece Hall making explosive plays. Our offense revolved last year when we were successful, and that was early on in the year, entirely behind Breece Hall making explosive plays.
Right.
This offense is not meant to grind out first downs. You saw Dalvin Cook, 3 yards per carry, barely.
Yeah,
He got hit
chucking into
hard
the
all
line.
day too.
Yeah,
It
he
was-
did.
He's slow, man. He is slow. That the 3rd and short, 3rd and 2 that he looked like he almost got, like he was slow getting to the line, and he approached it gingerly. I was not a fan of that signing. I'm still not a fan of that signing. And the worst part about it is, Izzy Abanikanda was inactive today.
Yeah, I thought he'd play a little bit.
You would expect, but no.
You
he
talk
was-
about
he-
explosiveness. That kid.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And that's what I mean by you can craft an offense around Breece Hall, around Izzy Abanikanda, on explosive runs. If you have a creative run game, it's possible to do it with this powerful of a defense. But there was no creativity in the Jets offense. It was just like plug into the line. And they were plugging into the wrong side of the line over and over again, to the left side, to our 32-year-old guard and our 40-year-old tackle, when we have Becton and Vera Tucker absolutely caving in the right side of that line.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to kind of go back onto what Anthony was saying. And Mike, I'm not saying that the Jets didn't win this game. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I'm just saying that the Jets offense did not produce enough to win this game. That's what I'm getting at. I'm not saying, the Jets did everything they could possibly do on defense to win this game. They kept them in this game throughout the whole entire time. But the Jets offense didn't produce enough for them to win this game. And that's why I'm saying as a team, they didn't do enough. It's because Zach Wilson and the Jets offense didn't put up enough points to be able to verify that they should have won this game. The Bills gave them every shot possible and shot themselves in the leg. And I'm not trying to say that just because, Plaxico Burress did it to himself, as a Jets fan. I'm just saying that, it happened, I'm not saying that because, it happened in New York. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying flat out, the Jets did not produce enough on offense to verify this win. The Jets did enough on defense to keep them in this game, and the Bills didn't enough to shoot themselves in the foot and lose this game.
All right. Well, I'll respectfully disagree on your take there. And Keith says it's a little disingenuous. Feels like it's disingenuous, and I agree. I mean, the Jets won. The Jets won fair and square. They gave us a gimme. I mean, Rodgers goes down, and you still whoop us. I mean, they whooped us. So I don't care what you say. Defense was there for them when they needed it. Our defense was good, guys. I mean, yeah, we gave up those 2 long runs. Our defense was pretty damn good. They really were. I mean, let me just give you some numbers here. Lazard, 2 for 46. Garrett Wilson, 5 for 34. He did have that incredible touchdown. Trey White is going to be having nightmares tonight and saying, how did that young man make that catch? Because, I mean, you all saw it. We thought for sure that was going to be knocked down. And what an amazing, amazing grab by him. Dalvin Cook,
That's why.
Dalvin Cook had 3 for 26. Breece Hall, 1 for 20. And Diggs, 10 for 102 and a touchdown. And somebody, I think it was Big L, who mentioned it early in the show, that, Diggs was going over to Allen and trying to help him out. He's like, come on, man, we can do this. And they drove down. That was right before they went and drove down and tied the game up before the game ended and sent it to overtime. But Diggs, I didn't see any problems with Diggs whatsoever as far as being upset. He did everything that he could, 10 for 102, and that was with 13 targets. You said they were overfeeding him, but, man, feed him more. I mean, the completion percentage to Diggs was off the charts.
You bring up Gotham City's comment.
Yep.
If it's disingenuous to say that giving the ball 4 times is giving another team the game, saying that the Bills defense wasn't good, but Zach was that bad. It was when Rodgers was in the game for 4 plays too. He got 3 pressures and two sacks in the 4 plays he played. So
Can I
so if we're going to be disingenuous about throwing
Let
3
me
easy
talk-
turnovers, then that's got to be disingenuous.
Let me talk for a second about Aaron Rodgers, because I'm not sure. I haven't watched the 22, but I did watch the plays multiple times. So this is what happened with the pressures. and I don't understand. This is, for the life of me, I don't understand Nathaniel Hackett's idea behind this. But late in the preseason, on the 4th game of the preseason, I saw them practicing cut blocks, and Rodgers got pressured. And then the first play of the game, Mekhi Becton is 6'8", 340 pounds. What are you having this man cut block for?
Yeah.
First play, cut block. What happens? Greg Rousseau right in there for a pressure. Like 2 plays later, 40-year-old Dwayne Brown basically falls over because he can't cut block. He's 40, and he's 320 pounds. Like, this, cut blocking is for small guards. It's for Mark Schlereth. It's not for 330 pound, 320 pound, 340 pound tackles. So what happens? He flails at, I think it was Floyd, was it? Or was it Rousseau? I don't remember.
It was Floyd.
It was Floyd. He flails himself at Floyd. Floyd gets an easy pressure right in on Rodgers because Rodgers doesn't get rid of the ball immediately. It was terrible. It's awful. Yes, I hate the cut block concept too. I've hated the cut block concept ever since the Denver Broncos did it to Brian Cox when he was on the Jets. Broke his femur, made him retire.
Yeah.
It's awful. Get it out of the game.
Yeah, Brian.
And there's no reason. I mean, cut blocks are reserved for running backs. Let's be real here, guys. They're not freaking for right tackles, left tackles, guys that are 6'8" above. It just, I totally agree.
That's how people get hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. And for a guy that tall to be doing it, it just makes no sense to me in general.
It was a terrible idea. I saw it happen in the preseason, and then seeing it again at the very beginning of the game when the pass rush is fresh. Yeah. It got Rodgers killed. You literally got Rodgers killed.
That's why he's out for the season.
Yeah.
I mean, literally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian, is the team that led for 90% of the game worse than the team that led for 5%? The Jets won the game, but they're not the better team. Is this the better team this week? I'm not saying they're the better team, and I don't know if they'll, without Rodgers, if they're going to be competing for this division. This is a tough division. Yeah, but for this game, they're the better team. They did it. It's funny. Somebody mentioned it last year, first game. The Bills were up like 14-3 at half, I believe, and they came back in the second half, made adjustments, and won the game. They went to the ground game last year, and this year they do it again. They go into with a nice, comfortable 13-3. The way that game had been moving along, you're like, man, we may not need another score to win this game because how our defense was looking, and man, somehow they figure it out.
I mean, you can't blame the defense, at all today because
playing
the normal amount of plays and then throwing 4 turnovers in there after you just got off the field. It was just like the last time. Von Miller got a strip sack against Zach Wilson when it was a tie game, I think, at the time. And then we got the ball back. Josh got sacked the first play, and then he threw a pick and a miscue to Dawson Knox. So it was the same thing. It was basically a textbook of the last time we lost to the Jets was Zach Wilson came in. They didn't do anything to put him at a disadvantage. They did little screen passes and ran the ball. That's all they needed to do. And, good for Zach. He didn't make any mistakes except for that one pick, but he did what he was supposed to do to, throw those screen passes and an occasional wide open Lazard. And, we didn't do anything to stop it. And then it came down to the same thing. Turned the ball over, got the touchdown. Then we got a chance to score again. We did. And then, again, it didn't matter because we, crapped ourselves and gave away that opportunity. And then they won off the punt. That's a horrible way to lose. It's just a punt return touchdown.
Good for Xavier Gibson, though, man. Undrafted out of Stephen F. Austin. I mean, I don't know if you watch Hard Knocks at all, but that's got to be a special moment for him. And, I know they missed a tripping call, but don't put an asterisk next to that.
Yeah, no.
There's no way. There was no freaking way Quentin Morris was making that tackle anyways. Let's be real here. He was taking that to the house regardless. So
not just that, but it was
already call the right game, though. Still got to be fair, but
for sure
they would have got the field goal anyway. So I mean,
but
still
already in field goal range. Yeah,
you still got. I mean, I'm not. There's definitely not an asterisk. I'm just saying, like, just because he was going to take it to the house doesn't mean a ref doesn't have to make a call. I mean,
no, for
if
sure.
You see it, you got to. I didn't see it. I didn't see the tripping. As soon as he got into field goal range, I was like, oh, there's a game. I don't care what happens now. And then he scored. So
really Sam Martin picked the worst time to have a bad kick. That was a poor kick, man. Poor kick. You could see that was trouble right when it left his foot.
Horrible.
So, Jake, you've been kind of quiet. I mean, look, we've been going for 45 minutes, and you started us off, but you've been kind of quiet. Anything else you want to chime in with here?
I wanted to let the boys talk a little bit, and I think you guys all brought some really good points here. I think in terms of the special teams, I mean, yeah, it is a little worrisome. Is it going to win and lose you a game? Maybe. It did in this case because it was like the last play of the game, but the ultimate story with this was just Josh Allen's play, and it was a boxing match. And basically, we threw, a ton of jabs, and the Jets were backed up to the ropes, and they took every single punch, and they landed one or two haymakers, and it was enough to put them over the edge. And they just outgritted us. They out-toughed us in the second half. And while we had a really nice lead, and I actually felt somewhat comfortable, but I also had that eerie feeling that I had last year against the Jets when we were up 14-3 at half. And it was the same freaking deal, man. Like, put it away. Don't make stupid mistakes. And this game is the Bills. It's all day. It's a victory for us. But unfortunately, I'm not going to say we totally handed it to the Jets because I think they did a lot of good things and they capitalized when they needed to. So it was a full-out win for the Jets. But the Bills absolutely did not help themselves. And Josh Allen didn't help the Bills whatsoever tonight in the second half. First half, I didn't think was too bad. He had two really tough throws in the first half. Second half, good God, man. I don't know what the hell happened. It just flipped totally upside down. So it sucks, man. It hurts. You just got to put it behind you. And I like what Brian Label said. You go back 3 seasons ago now, or 2 seasons ago against the Steelers, the first game against the Steelers where we totally laid an egg. And it was the story of that, too, was the defense of the opposing team, the Steelers' defense. They came to play. They went on a special teams play, too, on that block punt. And, the Bills end up having a really good season that year. So hopefully we can turn things around and get back on track and do something similar and maybe get to the Super Bowl. Maybe. Maybe.
I'm not going to say that ever again. Never again, man. Even if we ever made it, and I'm still never going to say it, I'm just going to be like, well, I don't want to say jinx nothing. I'm just gonna watch.
And listen, I like what James Cook did tonight. There was that one moment, sure, Sean, you can call him soft or whatever, but I think he did a lot of really good things tonight. Still,
he did. Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, great out of the backfield. He's what everybody hoped he would be when we drafted.
I wanted to see more of him. I really did. I was just foaming at the mouth for more, man. Like, give me some more of that. Use your playmakers.
Exactly.
You used Stephon Diggs. I love what they did with Stephon Diggs, but it took him a while to get him back going in the second half. Like, it took like a whole quarter to get him back involved again. So, man, I know you want to involve the other guys, but shoot, go with what works. Just keep doing it. Why not?
I thought he spread the ball around pretty good overall, and then, like I said, I called James Cook soft in the play, but if I met him in person, I'd be super happy to meet him, and I love the guy. But
yeah.
You could be soft. You could be soft, but still be a good player. I mean, I know it's Quincy Williams, man. But let's be honest. If it's like the Cam Newton, he was too scared to jump on the ball to win a Super Bowl. If you're that scared and you're that soft, I don't want you in the game. That's why they put Murray in, because Murray ain't soft. Murray was bulldozing people at 33 years old.
Yeah,
he looked great. I mean, he made that nice little. That little, whatever we want to call that Josh made, that little pass to him, and he got a couple, tough first down, and the Harris looked pretty decent in the receiving game too. Everybody got involved, and I thought we did good distributing the ball, and that's what I was saying was like stick. And Anthony touched on that too. Was like the amount of times doing it. Josh was like, okay, now I gotta go deep now. I feel Quinn Williams coming. I got to throw the ball deep. It's like just at certain those situations, if you just took the sack and you're at the 50, whatever.
Dude,
or
that first interception, whatever. He could have run for the first.
He had
like 20 yards of look what he's doing, man.
Wouldn't even talk about that.
Is it safe to say that Josh Allen needs to be a much, much better game manager? Like he's a game breaker. Yeah. In both ways.
And he loves it. And he loves being a game breaker. He loves being Superman.
Yeah.
But if it's not there, just take what they're giving you, man.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the thing. He was doing it, and then you're getting close. Like, just keep it up. And that's when Dorsey's got to be in his ear and say, and even McDermott said, be smart, stop being an idiot. And I don't know if he was talking to Josh, but I'm assuming he was. But
it was that play when Josh ran out, but he didn't get out of bounds. He got hit instead.
Yep. Yeah. That's when Dorsey's got to get on the mic and say, Josh, keep it up because good things will come. It's just like in anything you do in life, you keep going at stuff like YouTube. It's a perfect example. You keep working, you keep putting videos out, your subs go up, and then all of a sudden you look around and you're like, oh, now I'm at 1,500 subscribers in Nickel City Mafia. So you just keep doing what you're doing, and the fruits of your labor will come. Don't just get excited and think you have to get it done now because it was working the way you were doing it. And then that's why I don't like that Josh picks the quarterback coach, Josh picks the backup quarterbacks, Josh picks the offensive coordinator. You got to, like, when I always bring up the Army situation. I was friends with everybody that was underneath me, but when it was work time, they respected me like I was their leader. I treated them like they were my equal, even though I was above them in rank, and everything was ran smooth. And when you got friends in this situation, it seems like Dorsey's afraid to say, hey, Josh, I mean, that was really dumb, man. Like, make sure you don't do that again, because there's no reason why. Yeah, one pick at a stupid play without looking at the safety, I'll give you that. But three, those, again, they were in the right spot, and he made the play. You got to make the play still. But there wasn't like Josh didn't have any other place to go. It was his own choice, and you made the wrong choice. The offensive coordinator got to tell you, hey, man, dial it back. We can still win this game. We're still ahead. We still got opportunities. We're driving the ball down the field. Stop giving the ball away. It's just so simple. But I don't know what goes on behind closed doors with them. So I don't know if Josh just doesn't listen. I like to think he listens, but are they not telling him like, hey man, dial it back a little bit? Like, that was a boneheaded mistake. Then you make the second one. Then you make the third one. Like, come on, like three of the same kind of mistake. You got to make those changes. You're not a rookie anymore. You're in year 6.
Yeah. I want to say, some Bills players I was very impressed with. I thought Benford had a good game. I mean, Benford chasing down Breece Hall on that one play. If Garrett Wilson doesn't start celebrating and makes a block, he probably takes it to the house. But credit to Benford for just going all out. He was pretty far behind and was able to catch up. I think Breece Hall just ran out of gas at the end of it. Mm-hmm. And then Matt Milano played a great game. Other than that silly taunting call, you can't do that. But he played.
Honestly,
I think he ran the extra because he looked like he was going to just go down. But then I think he saw his act, so he's like, I'm going to run the extra 15 yards just because I want to taunt him and then get the 15-yard penalty.
But I got to say, Jake,
it was stupid. But
as soon as I saw him do it, I knew a flag was coming, and sure enough, the flag came. But I thought Milano played really well. He had a huge tackle for loss early in the game. He actually had the interception. Again, the defense played very well. I mean, enough to win this game, plenty to win this game. Honestly. And then Terrell Bernard was the leading tackler with 11 tackles, and Milano had 8. So, I mean, we talked enough about. I mean, look, we said it was Josh Allen's fault today, putting the blame on him. And again, I see a lot of people out there. It is just week 1. It is week 1. And Brian Label, you brought up a great point. A couple years ago, I thought we were going to whoop Pittsburgh's butt. I thought with the aging Roethlisberger, I said there's no way Pittsburgh wins this game. They came into Buffalo, and they beat us. And the Bills went on to have a fantastic year. And Brian's out there. I think he was on our last show predicting that the Bills win it this year. He says, I don't normally do this, but I have a feeling. And it is game 1. So Z-Bell and Brian, you're absolutely right. We talked about this. We said there'd be overreactions either way. I mean, if the Jets lose, well, the Jets would have had an excuse to lose, right? Rodgers out after four plays. The media would have been softer. And they didn't, exactly. But if they lost, they would have had an excuse. The Bills don't have an excuse because they're like, man, you lost, and they didn't even have Aaron Rodgers. But it happens. True. It happens when you have a good defense. So
I think it's lose-lose for the Bills. You win this game, it's an ugly win against a team that didn't have Aaron Rodgers. And we lost to Zach Wilson. So it just doesn't look good either way. So I think you just got to totally throw this one out and move forward. Shout out to Jordan Whitehead, by the way. First Jet with 3 interceptions in the game since Ty Law in 2005. I think Ty Law had like 10 interceptions that year. Am I right, Anthony? Remember that year?
I don't at all. Ty Law played for us? I don't even remember that.
I mean, 2005, man, that's
yeah.
But
so
I mean,
you go. There's some Jets trivia for you.
How old was I back there?
You got to learn from the mistake.
Man. And I know
you got to learn from the game, though. You can't just.
Oh, for sure.
can't just crap it up to a ball and be like, we're moving on to the Raiders. Like, they got to have a serious, whatever they call their players meetings, and they got to say, Josh, you stunk. You're horrible. You're garbage. You're not a top 5 quarterback. You're not an MVP quarterback. And then then be like, you know what? But you can be. Bring them down like the military, break you down and bring you back up, and then you come out on top. But no, don't say that to them. But you got to be honest. Like, I hate it's only week 1 mentality, and you guys know that about me. I always hated that because it compounds into, but then when you lose later on in the year, it's just another loss. It's fine. Or then when you win a crappy game, like if we won today, it would have been a crappy game. Then everybody's like, we got the win though. But that's what. But like I always bring up the Diggs thing. Diggs said it last year on the podcast. We played like absolute trash in those last 8 games that we won, and it didn't feel right. But everyone wants to just ignore everything else and say, it's only week 1, or it's just one loss. It's just one loss, but it matters a great deal. It's huge. You couldn't show up in someone else's house when they have a backup quarterback in, and you couldn't have your MVP quarterback drive the field down and win a game. You threw three picks and fumbled. It can't just be, it's week 1. You can't think like that. I mean, I guess fans could, but when fans think like that, and players look at all this stuff, they look at Buffalo Fanatics. They do interviews with them. They see all this stuff. They see Buffalo Plus, all those great YouTube channels out there. They listen to it and like, you know what? Yes, that's right. It's only week 1. And you got your captains, like I always mention. They go up on the podium. They say the same thing that the fans do. Yeah, it's only week 1, guys. Like, we're going to be fine. And as good as that team was when we were 11-6, we didn't get the job done. We still lost in the playoffs. So I don't care how good they were after losing week 1. You got to actually do something with it. You got to change. You got to find those mistakes that you did and then never do them again. Like, you had a whole year to study the Jet tape before week 1, and then what'd you do? You did the same thing you did the last year. You didn't learn anything. Josh didn't learn anything from last year. The coaches didn't learn anything from last year. I mean, one thing I do want to say, move on from that. Did we miss Tremaine Edmonds today? Would he have won us the game? That everybody talks about how he was the best player in our defense. Did we miss him today? I don't think so. I mean, It's just one game, but did you guys think that we couldn't play defense without him today? I don't know.
Not at all. Not at all. I didn't feel it. I mean, maybe a little bit, but not really. Terrell Bernard was basically making the same mistakes he was anyway. So
yeah, it's the same. And when he gets paid less.
Yeah.
The same thing.
The Jets remind me. You remember, Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he wasn't lighting it up. How did he win that Super Bowl? They had an amazing defense, and it just kind of remind me of that. So I think they can still do pretty good things with Zach Wilson. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Set of sad faces. Brian says we need to have some anger and passion in the players like Diggs.
100%.
Yeah. And then, but the real reason we lost can be summed up very quickly. Joe Buck, his voice distracted the team. I had that game on, but I'm just so focused on the game, I don't even hear these announcers much, honestly.
I typically watch the Manning cast because I like to hear the IQ and listen to the actual football reasons for why things happen. But I will admit, this time I did listen to Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. And I would say it probably didn't help the situation very much.
Troy Aikman, the Jets have the ball. Troy Aikman's like, you have to wonder if they'd call a different game if Aaron Rodgers was in there.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know. Why would you think that?
I think they run the same exact game plan with Aaron Rodgers.
No, they're probably running halfback dive with like a 9-man front with Aaron Rodgers. That sounds right.
Yeah, he kept saying, why aren't they taking advantage of 1-on-1 against Benford? And maybe with Rodgers that they would. But funny stuff, crazy stuff. So, guys, I mean, I don't know if we need to beat a dead horse. Let me go around the room and let's close this off. It's been an hour, and it's late on the East Coast, very late for you guys. I know some of you won't be able to sleep. At least it's only 9:30 here on the West Coast, so I can do something with my son. And my son watched the game with me. Poor kid, he's got a full cast on. He fractured his elbow in soccer. He's got a full cast on. Has to wear that for 2 weeks. And you want to talk about tough. I mean, that's going to be tough for this kid who's used to playing games and everything. He cannot move his arm. So pretty sad stuff. But anyhow, let's go around the horn here. And, again, for me, I'm just going to say, look, it's week 1. They are all important. I get it. But I'm also not just giving up on this team. They played they went into New Jersey, played a big game, and the Jets showed up again on defense. And yes, Josh Allen needs to clean it up. I don't know what's going on with his love life. I don't know what's happening, but
Stay away from the girls, man.
maybe
Stay away.
yeah, he just looked a little lost today, a little bit, but he'll be back. And I saw a lot of positives on the team. The defense looked good for the most part. The run game still a concern. As always, it seems like we give up a couple big runs. Terrell Bernard, say what you want. Yeah, there were times. He's a smaller guy, man. If he gets a big body on him, he's not going to be able to do anything, and you saw that. That's maybe where Tremaine Edmonds might have been a little more helpful, but I thought Terrell Bernard, for the most part, did just fine. So defense, pretty good except for a couple running plays, and offensive line I thought did pretty good. I mean, we're not in here beating up the offensive line whatsoever. I think Dorsey did a pretty good play call with early in the game. It would have been nice. I felt like we just don't make good adjustments at half. I don't know why. I feel like the Jets have done it to us now. 2 out of the last 3 times they played us, they make these nice adjustments at halftime and pull off this game. But overall, good game to start Monday Night Football. Not what we wanted. Anthony, congratulations. Jake, let me throw it to you for closing thoughts.
Yeah, Ant, congratulations, man. It was a big time dub for you guys. I will say this, some takeaways from the game here. Garrett Wilson is unbelievable, brother. You guys have him and Breece Hall. You have a very bright future with both of them. They both look insanely good tonight. And they, I mean, it's not even like they really had that many touches, either of them, but they made the most of what they could with those touches. So they're fantastic. The defense is pretty damn strong. I mean, if you're going to win games this year without Aaron Rodgers, it's going to be through that defense. And I think it is very possible. You bring up the 2000 Ravens. I know it's a totally different era, but it can be done. So hold your head high, man. Stay the course. As for the Bills, man, Josh Allen needs to be better. He actually did have some words after the game here. It looks like there's a quote. He said, "Same shit, same place, different day. I hurt our team tonight. I cost our team tonight, and it feels eerily similar to last year, and I hate that it's the same." So this guy has so much fire. He has so much passion. I know he's going to get back to work, and he's going to come out and he's going to have a hell of a game against the Raiders this upcoming week. So I'm not at all worried. I know it's concerning. It's absolutely concerning. But again, we know what we're getting with Josh Allen. He's a game breaker in both ways, and unfortunately tonight it was a game breaker in the wrong way. So next up, Stephon Diggs. God, he's super elite as well, and we just got to continue to feed him because he is really what makes our offense tick outside of Josh Allen. So, and that's not a bad thing. We have these other really good complementary weapons, and we can use those guys in the underneath routes and all that good stuff. And I thought they were actually very good with the yak. So that was also encouraging too. So, I think for the most part, we still have a very good team. You just got to put everything together and not make the stupid mistakes and deflate our balloon every single time, because that's what we did tonight. So it sucks. It hurts. But again, I'm with Mike. I'm not ready to give up on this team, and just ready for this next game. I'm really ready for this next game because I think I'm already over talking about this one.
Yeah, exactly. Brett, closing thoughts.
Yeah, Mike, I'm just ready for the next game. I mean, it's going to be the home opener, which is a big game. You know that coming home, playing in front of the crowd in Buffalo, that's going to be a really big thing to see. So I'm looking forward to that. And let's move on from this loss. It's a tough one to swallow, but let's move on to next week. Focus on the Raiders and getting our first win of the year. And I know it's a week late that we thought that we would get our first win, but let's get our first win of the year in front of our home crowd, and let's put a statement out there, and let's take care of business and make sure that we take care of the mistakes that we made this week and focus on the fundamentals and get back to playing Buffalo Bills football.
Yeah, I agree, Brett. Jorge De La Rua. Bills always make the stupid mistakes and lose ugly games. Always and always for decades now. Interesting stat that I didn't know. Josh Allen is now 0-5 in overtime games. Interesting.
Crazy. Hey, how about that commercial too, by the way, Mike? Did that relate to you? I mean, could you
Scott
find
Norwood?
that related to a Bills fan more than that Visa commercial?
It was
that guy.
It was amazing,
I was
man.
so pissed when they put that on at that time.
I know,
I'm like,
just
really? They put it on at the end of the game? You can't do it at the freaking beginning. You had
That's
to put it
keep
on when
kicking us
it.
while we're down, man.
Yep. Okay, I gotta ask one quick question though before Sean goes, Anthony goes. So I gotta ask this: how many of you had a heart attack when Tyler Bass kicked that field goal? It hit that freaking.
Oh, I did.
Right.
I
had
thought
a
he missed
heart
it.
attack.
I thought it was going to be a miss. I could see it was going to hit the bar. I'm like, this game's over. He's going to miss it.
So I was like,
yeah.
He's a freaking jinxed us because of that Scott Norwood, video that they were showing and everything. I'm like, did they really just do it? And I saw the way that ball was going. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? It's wide left again. Well, it's not wide left again. It was wide right the first time. But I'm like, it's going to be wide left this time. And then
I think now would be a good time to release our Buffalo Curse video, Mike. Maybe this week is the week to do it, huh?
I think so. Hopefully you've been recording that.
I was astounded that it doinked in and didn't come back forward.
Yeah,
because
most of the time
it just comes back forward.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So it was the Scott Norwood commercial that helped that, Brett. It helped that situation because the odds were it's going to ding and come back and not go over the post. Let me throw it to, and again, Jorge says, well, think about this. And this is Zach Wilson won the game in overtime and didn't play an offensive down. Yeah, crazy. Sean, and then we'll finish it with the winning team, Anthony. But Sean, closing thoughts.
This is going to be the same thing, like Josh said, and he even told you. It's the same thing every year. It's the same place, the same result, the same eerie feeling, and nothing changes. So nothing's going to change. They haven't given us a reason to think that they're ever going to change and clean things up and be a team that they could, go the distance. I don't think they can. And I know it's week one, but it's been 6 years. It's not just week one. It's 6 years of this. And I'm tired of pretending like it's only week one. It's only one game, because then it's going to be the next week. And that's going to be the week after that and the week after that. And then, like Jake mentioned, we're going to go have a good game against the Raiders. That might be so, but then it doesn't matter because it doesn't take away what happened in the Jets game. And then when we play the Jets again, it's going to be the same result, same shit, different day, same place, whatever Josh said, the same podium talk with no change. He's saying that stuff, but does he do anything about it? That's what I want to see. Like, I know Whitlock was talking crazy and saying like, oh, he doesn't have that dog in him, doesn't have that work ethic. Maybe he's onto something because he doesn't change. All he does is play a worse team and beats them. Like, did he change what happened in the Jets game? No, you just beat a worse team. So what you have to do is show next time you play the Jets that you're not going to throw 3 stupid interceptions. You're not going to fumble the ball on a stupid snap that you should have got, and win us a game. Don't lose us the game. Like that's really what he did. He had some great things. There's a lot of great things to talk about, but I think because there's great things to talk about, you still needed to bring up the bad, and a lot of people don't like to bring up the bad, and it's just how it is. You got to talk about things that didn't go right because it's not all like the Rocky reference. Keith brought it up. Women, weak in legs. That's 100% true. And I told Mike before, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. And that's what Bills Mafia wants to think that it all is everything has an excuse. Everything is going to be fine, but it's really not, because McDermott hasn't proven, Bean hasn't proven, and neither has Josh has proven that when push comes to shove, they're going to get the job done. And until they do something, beating the Raiders is not going to impress me, because we might not even beat the Raiders. I'm not going to get into it, but it's not a give. It's not a give me win. I know some people think they're going to win 3 games, but they got one already. But it's not a guaranteed win. They got playmakers on that team. They got. You think Breece Hall's good? Josh Jacobs is even better. You think Garrett Wilson's good? Devontae Adams is even better.
I don't know about that.
I mean, come on.
After watching tonight, man.
Come on.
No.
Come on.
No.
Josh Jacobs did just rush for over 1,600 yards. But
yeah, on like a trillion and a half carries. He had a great year
in rushing yards last year and total scrimmage yards. But I mean, you could agree to disagree, I guess. If you think Breece Hall is better than the rushing and total scrimmage yard leader, that's fine. But
Dalvin Cook had 1,400 yards last year. He looked washed.
Yeah, he did. But again, like I said, beating the Raiders, if it even happens, isn't going to impress me, and it's not going to mean anything. So you got to step up when it matters most. Winning the game against a lesser team, you're supposed to do that. You're playing the Jets. They got all the juice. It's 9/11. They're trying to protect their turf. They've been talking all this junk the whole offseason. Robert Saleh's talking about, we're going to win the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers, we expect to win the Super Bowl, and you haven't done anything. And they come out here and they win the game, and you allowed that to happen. So they got to do a lot of proving. There's a lot of problems with this team, and week one or not, it's got to be cleaned up. And again, if it doesn't get cleaned up, you got to talk about Bean. You got to talk about McDermott at the end of the year, and nobody wants to do that, but it's going to be a thing that we might have to do.
Imagine what they're saying in Cincinnati. Same thing, right? They're probably talking up the same stuff. Cincinnati looked horrible week one. The Chiefs fans probably were like a little more forgiving because they didn't have Chris Jones, they didn't have Kelsey, but still, you have. How crazy is it? We said this yesterday. It would be a possibility that the top three teams in the AFC would lose week one, and it happened. I feel like it was just in the air. It was just in the air. It was bound to happen. It's crazy. Jorge, yeah, I was saying this to my friend. This year on Nickel City Mafia, we did a lot of off-season content. We did a lot of analysis on the players that we picked up on the off-season. We drafted. And no way did I expect to see a game like I did today. No way. I did not expect us to put up 16 points. 16 points. It was crazy, and it was just a real struggle. And there was a lot of improvement on the O-line, I felt. Again, I'm going to give props to the O-line. Were they perfect? No, but that's a great defense they went against, and I felt they did a good job. So, yeah, I feel you, Jorge. I mean, like I said, we did so much analysis, all of us. And we did not expect to see this game play out like it did. But kudos to the Jets, man. And Anthony, you get to end it, man. You are the winning team. Congrats. Yeah. It's kind of bittersweet. You lose your star quarterback, and I think somebody said they feel it's an Achilles, which would be season ending. Yep. I don't know if that's confirmed.
It might be career ending.
That's a good point as well. That is a little crazy. Anyhow, Anthony, close it out for us, man.
Okay. First, I want to address what I talked about for the last couple of weeks, because I've been on every Nickel City podcast that you'll let me on. And one of the things I've been saying specifically is that this Jets team is incredibly well built. It's deep along the defensive line. It's deep in the secondary. We have explosive playmakers. And it feels to me like a very well crafted team. It's heartbreaking to me that we might waste another really well built team, potentially on Zach Wilson. And that's not to disparage the kid, but like Jets fans were giving him the frickin' finger after like one possession where they didn't move the ball. Like, this kid's been through the ringers. I've been a Jets fan long enough to know that we've developed exactly one quarterback in my lifetime. That was Chad Pennington, and he sat for 3 years. We keep starting these kids early. We keep breaking their confidence, and we keep throwing them away. One of the benefits that you've always had being in Buffalo is the fact that Josh Allen got to hide for a couple of years. You're in a small market. They didn't kill him. Josh Allen was trash his first year. Josh Allen wasn't very good his second year. He wasn't as bad as he was his first year, but it wasn't really until the end of his second year into his third year that he got the opportunity to break loose. And when he did, he went nuts. I wouldn't throw out, from your perspective, I wouldn't throw out Sean McDermott. But I do think, like I said on all the other podcasts, that your window is closing, and it's going to have to be this year. Because with Aaron Rodgers no longer on the Jets, and I did think we had the best 53 in the division, this has got to be your year to wrestle control over this division one more time and to actually go all the way. I don't know that. I forget the name of the corner that Wilson stole the touchdown from.
Trey White. Yeah.
Trey White. I don't know that Trey White at 27 doesn't pick that off. 29, he didn't. But at 27, he probably does. Those safeties, when Breece Hall bursted through, he cut right through both safeties.
Yeah.
And he basically walked right past them.
They both look old right
Yeah.
now. I hate to say that. It hurts to say.
Yeah. You've got some transition going on the defensive line. You did get some pressure on us. We don't have the best offensive line. It's probably bang average all around. But man, you've got to maximize your chances this year, man. If that means you gotta make a big bang trade for like Mike Evans, if you got to make a big trade for Devontae Adams, something like that, your first round picks aren't going to be worth anything if you can't get a Super Bowl this year and then you have to break up the team. So like, I'm warning you, you're gonna have to really sell out for something, because what happened today, you guys get to play the Cowboys, I think. You guys have almost the same schedule as us. It's a little bit softer, to be honest with you, because you guys get the Bucs and we don't. I think we get the Falcons, and that team looks real. But like, I think you're going to have to make a move or two, and that's how I'll close it out. For us, I don't know.
Well said, Anthony. Very well said. I agree with a lot of the points you made, and let's go. I mean, next week is next week. We've been through this before, guys. We've been through it. We've been through these losses. You hate to wait a whole season, all the work, the Bills did, we did, and you expect, man, this is our year, and I think it still is. But hey, we lose a tough one in New Jersey, and I said this, and I think all of us said this. Would you have been surprised if we lost? No, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised at how we lost. I'm surprised that we lost when they didn't have Aaron Rodgers, for sure. But that defense, man, Jake, it's a top-notch defense, is going to win them a lot of games.
Yep.
So, all right, guys, it's late. Thank you all in the channel. Again, we did hit 1,500 subs before kickoff, which was fantastic. I want to thank all of you, every one of you that have supported this channel the last 2.5 years. We greatly appreciate it, and always love seeing you out there in the comments. It just makes the show so much better. So, heads up. Let's go. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
See you soon.
Chat up.
Jets. Give your best JETS. You didn't do it last time. You gonna give us one?
I didn't. I can't. It's a chance. You need to have other people, and you guys aren't going to help me out.
Oh man, you could do it. You could have done it. All right. See you, everyone. Goodbye.